Hi everybody. Today I'm going to be making breaded chicken cutlets using almond flour. So this morning I'm going to marinate the chicken so that it is layered in seasoning. 5 pieces of chicken breast. So I went ahead and put it in a Ziploc bag, and I already put my spices in. So I used some olive oil, kind of see on the bottom, just enough so that when you mix it around it coats it. Just it has a vessel for coating the spices. I use Italian seasoning, which has sage, rosemary, thyme, and basil. What else is in there? Marjoram and oregano. So I don't need to add any of those. There's quite enough in this mix. I got this in Target, by the way. And I did use some dried parsley flakes in this case, because if I put the fresh in with it when I cook it later, I don't think they don't really stick as well when you're doing it as a marinade. So I'm going to go ahead and close the bag. Okay, and then you just, I like to do it one hand. Look at that. Look, Ma, one hand. And just mix it around, and I'm going to mix it up a little more, so it'll be ready to go later. Stick that back in the fridge until later. And it's later, so it's time to get ready. So I have 3 eggs, which will be for my dip, and then the almond flour. So let's go ahead and crack the eggs in a bowl. Crack! And I have almond flour that I put in a shallow bowl, and I'm going to add some paprika. And we want to season the almond flour, even though the chicken itself has flavor, so we have more layering. I've also, along with the paprika, I added some grated Parmesan cheese and some garlic powder. So just go ahead and mix it around, and then we can go ahead and start. So I have a piece of parchment paper that I'm going to put the chicken on after I've breaded it. So first you sprinkle some almond powder on first, just to put like a small layer before you dip it into the egg wash. It's really moist, so you just have to, I had to like pat it on a little bit. It doesn't really sprinkle very well. Then you go ahead and start dipping it into the egg one at a time, and let as much of the egg drip off as you can get. And then we'll go ahead and put it into the almond flour, just like you would with breadcrumbs, and make sure you coat both sides evenly. And then you'll put it onto the parchment paper and do the rest of them. So now it's time to cook. This day I'm using avocado oil. It's just a little healthier, and I had run out of my Goya olive oil. So, but I do want to add a little more oil to the pan. There's not quite enough, so I'm gonna use my olive oil that I have in the pantry already for that. And then we just heat up the pan and wait until it's hot enough to start cooking the breasts. Now we are ready to start cooking. So I'm going to take my breasts one at a time and put them in the pan. And you don't want to overload the pan. So on this round, I'm going to be just doing 3 of the 5. And then you want to cook them until they are a nice golden brown color. I usually start with about 6 or 7 minutes for the first side, and then I kind of peek underneath to see if it's ready before I flip it over. So it looks pretty good, so I'm going to go ahead and flip them, and then I'm going to set the timer for at least another 5 minutes, and then I'm going to check. I want the same coloring as you can see here. It'd be nice and golden brown. So these look like they're pretty ready, so I'm going to take them out. I have a plate next to me lined with paper towels that I'm just going to put them on and let them soak up the excess oil, and we're ready to go. Enjoy.